During the renovation of an old administrative building, workers found something that shouldn't exist. Tucked away in a sealed stone cavity was a leather-bound book with no title. This was impossible. Every document in that building was meticulously indexed, but this book had no record, no history. It was as if someone had deliberately tried to erase it from memory itself. The archivists who opened it were expecting a simple ledger. What they found instead was a detailed account of a town that, according to all official records, never existed. The writing was eerily calm, describing streets, homes, and daily life with absolute certainty. The record claimed this town thrived for generations before vanishing overnight. There was no violence, no plague, just gone. Every resident disappeared, leaving meals on tables and candles burning down to nothing. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. Modern maps showed a town right where the record described it. The buildings were there, the roads connected to nearby cities, and people lived there. They just had no knowledge of any history before a certain point. The town hadn't physically vanished, only its past had. As the researchers kept reading, the book began to change. Dates would shift slightly, events repeated with minor differences, as if history was rewriting itself. Faint words started appearing in the margins, visible only at certain angles. It was like the book was reacting to their thoughts, answering questions they never asked out loud. Then it became personal. The names of the town's residents began to move around the pages. Some faded, while others grew darker. A completely unfamiliar name started appearing everywhere, as if it had always been part of the story. But when they searched for this person, they found nothing. The name only existed within the book. One day, a living name appeared. It matched one of the researchers perfectly, right down to a rarely used middle initial. They tried to dismiss it as a coincidence, but the book kept adding details: the researcher's job, their address, a timeline that mirrored their own life. Trying to ignore it didn't work. Trying to remove it made the surrounding text unstable, as if the record refused to be altered. The final pages offered no answers. The writing grew frantic, sentences stopping abruptly. The book described the town's disappearance, not as a past event, but as an ongoing process. It suggested the town wasn't erased, but transferred to a different state of being, a state sustained by the act of being observed. It needed readers, and then the archivists started to disappear. Not suddenly, but quietly. They'd stop answering calls. Their offices would be reassigned. Names would fade from employee lists. Colleagues would struggle to remember them. Eventually, only one person was left who even remembered finding the book. That last person watched in horror as their own name began to appear near the end of the record. The final sentence was unfinished, just waiting. The book didn't need an ending. It just needed someone to keep reading, to keep the process alive. The town is still out there. The record is still waiting. In the next part, we'll uncover what happens when that final sentence is completed, when the record no longer needs to write names on paper, because it has learned how to erase them directly from reality, pulling the living into its pages and leaving behind only a silence where a person used to be. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it.